Hey, we're live.
Oh,
Look at
wait,
that.
what? Hey guys.
Yeah. Anything important happen tonight, Alex?
I just had kind of a quiet evening at the Marriott in Atlanta as we are down here for my son's tournament. I can smell his soccer cleats.
Oh,
Decided to order a nice glass of wine from the hotel bar for my wife to help her unwind, and they sent a fishbowl.
oh my gosh, like
And
a huge bowl.
yeah, yeah, it was one of those. You're cutting back to one glass a day.
So you just get a really huge glass.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out, Alexi. Look at this. In off the post. And it's off the post. And it came off both posts and came out. Are you kidding? Unbelievable.
So, in all seriousness, pretty big game. Couple major things happened, but let's start with what didn't happen in the first half, and that was there were no goals in the first half. Did you get to see the whole game from there at the lovely
Yes.
Marriott?
Was able to watch the whole game from the beginning.
So it was reversed. Normally, we are defending in front of we're defending in front of the supporter section in the first half. At least that's how it's gone for most games this year.
Right.
And it was flipped today. So they were defending on our end, and there was one play that we should have gone up 1-0, and I was really worried that that was going to be something we were talking about extensively about why we didn't get our victory was because of that. How did that look from your end? Because I'm standing right behind the goal. Did it look as bad as it actually was? Because it was a really bad miss.
Yes. I don't get how Rafa. It almost looked like he had kind of misplaced his foot and hit down on the ball and caused it to bounce as opposed to really getting a clean strike when you see the replay. But yeah, I mean, it was such a great move. He put two players on skates, comes to the center of the field, and inexplicably the ball went wide. And you could see on his face that he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I
Yeah,
didn't bury that,"
yeah,
knowing
because
that against this team, if you don't take those kind of chances, you may not get any other chances.
yeah, I mean the fact is their keeper is pretty stingy. He doesn't give up a lot of goals. Their defense is pretty stingy. Um, and so when you have an opportunity like that, you fully expect it to come back and bite you. Um, let's go back further. What did you think of the starting lineup? What was your initial thoughts when you saw what we were putting out there? Anything surprise you?
I was a little surprised to see Ropineda get a third straight start. The fact that it was kind of the third straight. I mean, it was a lot of the same players that we've had, guys that played on that quick turnaround from the game Tuesday. There wasn't any insertion of fresh legs, so I don't know if they've got guys they're trying to kind of nurse back. We had Jimmy Villalobos off the bench, who was not in the lineup on Tuesday. Same thing with Ray Ortiz, again coming off the bench after he's not really played in a couple of matches. Uh, but yeah, I don't know that I would say it was the best 11 that we have on our roster out there on the field. But it wasn't anything that was too shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little disappointing to see Wally and Blake in the stands, but the credit to them, they were in the stands cheering on alongside the fan base, so that was pretty cool that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was surprising to me. I thought we would have Blake back. I don't know if there's an injury or what, because he's definitely in town, right? I mean, he's here.
Yeah.
Um, so that surprised me. I was really surprised that Rowe got another start. I thought when Ray Ortiz came on last game, he kind of really did a good job. And I thought maybe that would have been enough because I don't think that Rowe has done that great when he's been on the field. There was nothing today that I would look at and say, oh, that was a really amazing play. In fact, if anything, there was one time where he did a great move in the first half and did what he tends to do a lot, which was hold on to it too long and allowed the player to get back to him when he was on coming towards us. So to me, he was to my left, but he's on the right side of the goal facing the keeper. And he does a great job. Similar move to what Rafa did, but the difference was, you're not right in front of the goal. And he didn't take that action. Like, he allowed too much time for them to recover, which ended up, which tends to be kind of what he does. So if he gets another start, there's got to be an injury that's causing it, because I don't think he's done enough to persuade me, at least, of that. What was your thought of the new hairstyles? Did you catch that?
I noticed. It had a little bit of a Johnny Lawrence Cobra Kai feel. And I'm not really the guy that makes comments on people's hair choices, because I'm not allowed to make any. So it was what it was.
It caught me off guard. I was like, is everyone's hair yellow? Like, it's not just one player. It's like the entire team got like a deal on like a large thing of hair products.
There was a moment where I was like, did we sign a new No, that's Carrera Garcia. And he's just dyed his hair blonde.
Yeah, and it was funny. It cracked me up a little bit. All right, so what was your overall thoughts going into halftime?
It was thinking back to that sitter that got missed, and I felt like we did a really good job staying organized defensively. You could tell that they were not going to let Greg Hurst beat them at home in this match, and they did a wonderful job marking him. And it seems like if you can bottle him up, Omaha doesn't have a whole lot of other answers. Like, their whole style system of play is hit it long and try to flick it to Greg.
Yeah, that seems fair. My going into halftime, two things. Number one, there was a large contingent of fans that had come from UTC, I think one of the local fraternities, that were behind the goal, along with a number of supporters. A lot of Bryan College kids were here as they're back in session as well. So a lot livelier crowd than we had in the past. And one of the coolest things is Coach Obleda at halftime comes over and asks all of those guys, the Bryan College guys, the UTC guys, go to the other goal and keep giving this keeper heck so we can score in front of all of you. And I think they did a great job of that. That was a really cool takeaway, because it was definitely a lively atmosphere there at CHI.
So that's something else that I noticed in the first half is, of course, we're down here in Atlanta. We are one of multiple Red Wolves Academy teams that are down here playing in tournaments. And that hill back there behind the goal where you guys stood in the second half is a place where the kids are running wild, and they'll come kind of stand by the rail and they'll go chase the shots that go over and all those kind of things. And the first half, it was sadly empty because all of the children are down here in Atlanta in the hotel rooms and resting from playing tournament games this weekend.
That's funny. I didn't even pick up on that. I was just so focused on the fact that we had such a large contingent in the supporter section and how much fun it was.
Yeah.
All right. So that takes us to the second half. First 20 minutes of the second half, not a lot happening, right?
There's the one here again where Rafa got slid a pass and had a one-on-one situation. And I mean, I got to give props to Rashid Nuhu. He came up with a really good save on Rafa. I thought he put a pretty decent shot that he was hoping to kind of sneak underneath him, and it instead deflected and went over the goal. And that was another situation where it felt like, we could have had a goal. This is a game where it felt like we could have won it 4-0.
So I'm going to be honest with you. That goal was maddening that missed goal was maddening from where I was standing, because I got to see how open Jackson Dietrich was. And I got to hear Jackson yell, "What the beep? I'm wide open. We're a team." And dude, he was pissed, and rightfully so. I was like, because all it took was a small, like there was no one on Jackson. All it took was just a little flip, and it would have been an easy tap in goal. And so that's my takeaway from that. Like, dude, you had a wide open. I get it though. I get it because he was really close himself to making it. So I understand the striker's mentality there, but Jackson, and then insult to injury for Jackson, he gets subbed off almost immediately after that happened. So it's like, not only did you have what would have been a tap in not provided to you, yeah, that happened. So, all right, so that takes us, to a little bit further down. That takes us to the goal, and we've kind of been avoiding even talking about it to now. So I'm gonna share what that goal looked like that we get from the USL League One feed on Twitter. So here's what that looked like.
Ruiz, he's got Galindras in the middle. He's got Villalobos wide open, but he doesn't see him, and it's in. I thought it had gone wide, and it's 1-0 Chattanooga as the lights do their tricks. And
as the lights do their tricks.
Lights went out. The what went? Huh.
Yeah, we don't have lights actually. We should let this guy know.
So scared of the dark that they brought glow in the dark uniforms. If you notice, when those lights go out, it kind of looks like their shirts are glowing.
Let's get there. Yeah, a little bit. You're not wrong. So the actual goal here, I wanted you to look at Nuhu, and from where I'm standing. So I'm standing to, if you're looking at this screen, to the left, and this ball goes a good 5-6 feet to the right of Nuhu. Like, he had no chance, and so
wide open. He doesn't.
Like, and it's so much so that he doesn't react at all, and so the announcer's just like, the announcer's like,
he doesn't see him, and it's in.
He says, and it's in. It has been in for 3 seconds at this point. Like, the fans are going nuts behind it, and it's like, you're watching the feed. Like, they're not in Chattanooga, right? I mean, they do these feeds from Florida. It's pretty hilarious because that's how out of position Nuhu was for this. Like, it wasn't because it caught him off guard. He was that out of position to actually defend it.
Now, did that shot take any kind of deflection? There is
Nope.
a little bit where, to me, it looked like it might have taken a deflection.
No, it did not take a deflection at all. Like, it goes, like, I'm going to try to go back to where he shoots it. I'm sorry, I have to go back a lot further. So if you look, it splits the two defenders and goes right to the right.
He's got Villalobos wide open. He doesn't see him, and it's in.
I mean, it was a nice shot, but dude, that was one that if it was the other direction and it was going against us, I would have been livid because the defense didn't show up for Omaha on that play, and their keeper was out of position. I was happy with it. Don't get me wrong, but
right,
yeah. And then about 5 minutes later, and I don't have a video of this, but about 5 minutes later, we almost got that second. And that was another one of those. It was a great cross that came across, and Galindras just had like a little tap with his foot.
I know.
And I thought that would have sealed it for us. It would have around the 84th, 85th minute. How are you feeling at home? Where I'm standing, I am so far away from the goal that I have no idea really what's happening, other than when the ball goes way up in the air, I know it's being cleared. How did that last 5-6 minutes feel for you?
It was intense. I felt like they did a very good job of staying organized. There were not a lot of situations in that last 10 minutes where I felt like we were going to surrender the goal. I think the one time that I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, was right off the very beginning, where a ball got played back long and Daniel Navarro didn't play it, which forced Trilk to come running off his line. And he kind of bobbled it when he then, slid out to try to grab it. But yeah, there was not a lot. Tim Trilk made a couple really good saves. He had a lot of really good punches. He was very active off his line. The defense was in good positions to win the headers and get it clear. I would have loved for them to have found a way to get possession and get into a corner and milk the clock. But they were just booting clearances. I think essentially knowing that pretty much all Omaha was going to try to do was, again, hit it long, hope it'll flick to Greg, and they couldn't get it done. So Red Wolves closed it out.
So that takes us to current standings, and I'm going to share that real quick where we're at on the standings. Here we go. So current standings, we are sitting. What is this? Is that first place?
First place.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't done the math. Are we also first place on points per game?
So we are tied in points per game. We're both at 1.88 points per game.
Okay, and we are both at a goal differential of 9, and because we have the head-to-head win, we're in first place either way, right? That's how that math works.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, so we're in first place, free and clear. There's a pretty significant drop from us to the next team with 17 games played, points-wise, and that's a 8-point gap between us and New England. And us in North Texas. Tormenta also has 24 points, but they've played 3 more games than us, so not really counting that.
And have 10 losses. That 10 losses in the loss column, that's significant.
Yeah, so what's crazy, though, is there's a team with 24 points starting in 3rd all the way down to 8th. And, so you ignore Tormenta, because really they're in 8th. They may say 4th, but they're in 8th as far as I'm concerned of these teams that tied at 24 points. Which one of these teams do you think is the most likely to make that run at us or Union Omaha for that second spot?
I mean, I feel like if anyone's going to make a run, it is an established team with a track record of success. That is Greenville Triumph. They've been scuffling and not had a great record in their last few games. But if there's anyone that I fear, it would be Greenville.
Okay. I'm going to say North Texas. I feel like they've got the opportunity, right? They go play Union real soon, right? So they have a chance to gain 3 points while knowing Union's getting nothing. They played us really well. They just came off another tight game. Let's go look at some of those match scores so you can see this today.
They had a tie with Madison.
They tied Madison. North Texas got that goal in the very end of the game, then got a red card at the very end of the game as well. Tormenta, New England tied, so we were the only victory. 2 games tomorrow, Greenville Triumph and Richmond Kickers, and Fort Lauderdale Tucson. When you go back to those standings, Fort Lauderdale Tucson, they're fighting for the opportunity to not be in the top 6 as far as I'm concerned. Richmond is getting ready to be in that same kind of boat if they don't win this game versus Greenville. Greenville has an opportunity to kind of reestablish themselves with a win. Richmond gets the win, then they get to join the team at 24 points. So interesting games tomorrow.
Pretty wild that Greenville with a win can go from 7th all the way up to 2nd.
Third. Yeah.
Thank you.
But still, I mean, or the fact that Richmond with a win will go in, will move up 1 spot, but they'll be tied for 3rd and also be sitting in 9th. Tied for 3rd through 9th, which would be nuts, right? I don't think there's not really a way to get Fort Lauderdale to 24 points because they play Tucson. Can we get Tucson there? No, we can't get Tucson there either. So we can have legitimately 6 teams at 24 points. I think after playing,
people
Union,
are moving up around the table like the power rankings.
I mean, seriously,
which we're definitely going to be discussing on the next episode, because how are we not in first?
Well, we won't be. We won't be. But all right, so I will leave it with this. This is a comment from Scenic City Angler, which I believe is Brendan Oglesby, who was one of the 2 drummers. They had 2 drums in the supporter section. Alex Loza brought 1 as well today, so awesome that drummed the entire first half, which was awesome. But he seals it perfectly. Trilk was money down the stretch on those clearances. That was the reason why. First clean sheet in Trilk's professional career, I believe.
So you're welcome. First appearance on Soccer Chat. First shutout as a professional soccer player. That is not a coincidence.
And on that note, I think it's time for us to end this. But thank you guys for joining, and
Bye.
yeah, that wasn't terrible.